This is Kyle.
That's Kyle.
One wheel to destroy boredom.
All right.
That's Kyle.
Dun, da, da, da. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to me. All right. Doc here from North America. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to me. Yes, indeed. TGIM. That's right. TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. All right. What do we got going on here today? Just a little weakness, nothing major. We see the pairs trades moving down a little bit, and we see the dollar moving up a little bit. Nothing too exuberant. What else can we say about this, about that? Let's put. There's RoboGaz. What was I was looking at RoboGaz there for a second. Let's find the euro. Let's go to the euro first. Where are we? There it is, right? That won't do it. Let's use this mouse instead. And there is. No, that's not it. The Dookie Day Week. There we are. And there it is. There. I was wondering where the cable was. There's the euro. You can see it's moving down a little bit. It's actually dropped underneath the daily sell number. But look at the weekly. It's firm. The white line is well above the time manifold. So this is probably, well, we'll just say, you never know. You can't tell the market what to do. It's going to tell us what it's going to do. So we see that pressure there. And then let's put it up on J4X. Oh, it's generating a little red there. And sinking like a ship. Nah, it's not that bad. 117. And if 54's out there, I'm sure he's very happy to hear that. We're seeing some movement on the downside here. I don't see anything particular more than summer doldrums. I thought that was kind of cool. We've seen a great move out of this product, from the where was it, the 112s to the 117s. I think that's what it is. Let's see, where did we go into the weekly buy in this thing? Back here in the what is that? That's 109. I'm sorry, 112s. What am I saying? That's right. I'm just a little lost there. 108.96. We can say 109. Let's round it out to 109. So we went into the weekly buy in 109. So anybody who's been trying to play the short side of this thing is definitely fighting the tide. That's for sure. And you can see it. Where is it? Let's move this over just a tad. And that's line 14. 11 weeks in a weekly buy, 14 days in a daily buy. So it's bye-bye birdie. And today is showing a little weakness in here. Someone's got to take a profit, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. You trade to make money, right? You don't trade to just trade. So there you go. Do thanks, Doc. About time. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I've been sweating bullets for you. Trust me. I've been sweating bullets. I've been like, oh my God, please don't tell me that he just rolled his toes up and went tits up. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, kind of interesting. We can deviate. How about that Turkish lira? That crazy, slow, steady, going nowhere. Finally exploded, and we finally found the story out on that. That was the drilling. They were drilling where they're not allowed to drill, and I guess some people actually thought they were going to be able to get it. The check is in the mail, 54. The check is in the mail. I'll send it to you. Thank you. Basically, it's been an interesting move in the currencies, and I guess the gold. And I saw a chart last night. I guess you could correlate the two together, since we always say the metals are a currency. There's an actual. Let me see if I can put that up there. I'll show you this supply and demand of gold at the exchange, like 100 million ounces. I don't know, some nice big number, the largest number ever delivered to the exchange, and it keeps on happening right on the expirations of the futures contract. Let me see if I can find this, and I'll put it up on the screen. It was a good article. I didn't save it because I hate being like I told you so. It's bad enough I put a spreadsheet up on the, putting the spreadsheet up on the screen is a lot easier than saying I told you so. Because there's the evidence. I don't have to say I told you so. So what's this? S&P jumped to 5-month highs. Dollar spikes. Those bull spreads are doing fine. Thank you. Let's see. I put call bull spreads on there, so that was pretty cool. Let me see if we can find the delivery. And it's an interesting chart, but what it really showed more than anything else, that's probably why I didn't save it, is because the gold, these big deliveries going on at the exchange are happening at the expiration. So it's basically the carry trade or the pairs trade against the futures, premium selling, that type of thing. Let's see. I'm scrolling now to see if I can find it. Giant volatility markets are being fueled by retail speculation. Okay, nah, urgent buying. Let's see. But it was a good chart. I should have saved it. I really should have saved it. But again, it's not the most important thing in the world. What it really comes down to is that we're seeing big deliveries of gold at the exchanges, and now I take that conversation a little bit further, and that is that and it's on the expiration that's driving these big chunks of gold to the exchange to do all the delivery. So what happens next is that you see the currencies move up at the same time. So you see a lot of currency movement in a cycle matching up with the expiration of the futures contract. And so it's just an offset, in my humble opinion. It makes a lot of sense. God, I should have saved the chart. It was really interesting. But I didn't find the story. There wasn't much of a story, so I didn't save the chart. But let's see. Insane, stupid chase stocks to the economy plunges. Okay. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like I'm going to find that story. It was on Zero Hedge, too, about the largest delivery last Friday. So, let's see. I'm going to give it one more shot, and then we're going to just move along. Insane, stupid to chase stocks. I'm going to... Let's see. Next Nevada gold discovery. Yay. Bitcoin hits. Oh, yeah. Did you see that? Bitcoin hits 1-year high and then plummets. Someone liquidates $1 billion worth of it. I have a friend. Yes, I do. I have one friend. No, I have a friend that has a poker game. It's a Manhattan poker game. And he's like the poorest guy in the game. It's like he's worth under $100 million. And, like, most of I guess half the table is like billionaires. So anyway, there's this one guy there, and he had Bitcoin for, I guess what it was. He was a young guy. He was like 36 years old or something like that. He had Bitcoin. He bought Bitcoin at some crazy number, like $200. And so it went to 20,000, and my friend's like telling him, you've got $36 million from it. Like, it matches your age. Why don't you liquidate half of that? And he doesn't do it, of course, and then Bitcoin falls down to, $2,000. And he says, no, I'm holding on to it forever. And so then Bitcoin, now is back to 10 or 11 or 12,000, whatever it is. So at least he's got, half that money back. But again, it's just not even 1% of the guy's assets, so it doesn't really matter. But that mindset is why I tell the story, not to, tell tales. But why I tell that story is because, that's the mindset of some of the people who are invested in Bitcoin. They have De Niro, they have money, and they're going to buy that sucker and hold on to it. And, he says it's going to 100,000. And I saw that. This article here, that's what made me think about it. The Bitcoin article says last night, sometimes they change the title of these things. It says Bitcoin on the course to 100,000 when you go to the story itself. It says, it's on course to get to 100,000. I don't know how, just because it's a 10,500, how it's on the course to go to 100,000. But doesn't sound like technical analysis to me. But that is the mindset of some of the people that are invested in these cryptocurrencies, which I have no problem with, because I'm very pro any asset that is legitimate. In other words, it's an asset. It is an asset. It's just an electronic one. That's all. So, All right, where do we go from here? Let's jump over to the cable and see what Mr. and Mrs. Cable's doing this morning. We did have it up there when we first started the webinar here. Now you can see same thing, holding firm. It's been an interesting move on the upside. Same game, Only difference is the cable is not going into the daily sell at the moment. See it there? It's down, but it's not. It's not really heading down that hard yet. We'll see if this is a real push on the downside. The dollar probably is getting some boost from all that. The push down in the gold. That's probably it, because I think we've seen the December. We're following December gold now, and that was up to like 205 or 210 or something like that. So that's pretty much where it's at this point in time. There's not a real push. I don't think there's a super inflation coming along. I don't think it's anything. I think it's just summer doldrums, thin market. Couple $1 trillion it looks like is going to be spent in Europe, which is pretty cool. Europe still has a lot of what's the best way to describe it? Infrastructure problems. When it comes to money and investing. So you can only get so much out of the Europe move. Let's see. So there's cable, and here it is there. And like I said, not much excitement. And they are piercing the time manifold, so that's interesting to keep an eye on. And it's still green on mine, and still green on J4X. So, all right. Where do we go from here? No one's asking any particular questions, so we will jump over to the Turkish lira. Let's see what it's doing right there. Is that it? Yeah. 35 weeks in a buy and 4 days in a buy. And their oil hopes have diminished dramatically over the last few days, or the last week, I guess you can say now. It's a whole week. Let's see if we can find it on here. Right there. And it looks like it's just flat. Not too exciting. But it was fascinating to watch. I thought they had a deal. I really did. I thought that they'd come up with something very positive. But this whole thing was just oil hopes. That's what it was. No one wanted to get involved in the currency in case. Imagine if they had struck a nice big well, and they were allowed to keep it. I mean, that could have driven this thing down, and that's exactly what it is. So, as much as sometimes the currency trading looks mindless. Ellis, how are you? Hey, how you doing? As much as this stuff looks mindless sometimes, there is thought behind it. You can see that. So how are we today? Ellis? Amor? How come not amor? Isn't that French for love? Oh. In the U.S., it's more like, more. So that's what we're doing there. That's what we see. That's what we know. We don't see too much more than going on in that. But that was it. That was the oil story. Doc thought it was a better story than that. I was hoping central banks had, going total Elon Musk, with did you see that with the Elon Musk, with the what do they call it? Conspiracy theories. He was I guess he put something out there saying that the pyramids were built by aliens. I think he's going Stargate on us. And so Egypt's government invited him there to come take a look and said no, they weren't built by aliens. They're built by these Jewish kids. The original slave. That's right. So you can see here, Turkish lira is built pretty chill. We're not seeing any. We're not really seeing any weakness in the weekly at all. So, I mean, it's trying. It's underneath the. No, wait a minute. The white line, and you can see it there. The white line is above the time manifold for like 4 weeks now. So, I mean, it's not rolling over. No rollover. And when it tried to go into the weekly sell right there, the histogram was plus and the white line was minus. So it was like just on the edge of going into a sell. I sound like Captain James T. Kirk. and I'm going to. All right. Where do we go from here? Let's see what Canada's up to today. I think it went into a buy, right? Yeah. It wasn't a buy. A buy. Yeah, it's 2 days in a daily buy, 3 weeks in a sell. They put a spike up on it Thursday, I think it was. I think it was Thursday or Friday, one or the other. Yeah, look at that. Thursday. Spike a doodle. Going on its third day now. Challenging the highs there. I don't know if it's a we thing or what thing with Trudeau. Every time Trudeau gets involved in something that they want to lock him up for or want to get rid of him, you know, I mean, he has a minority government at the moment. So, but he's still got control. And I guess that has some influence. I don't know. Or was it trying to play catch up with the Turkish lira? Anything's possible. And you can see here the weekly is dancing a little long to the line and trying to break the time manifold on the upside there now. You can see here on J4X, it is steady, firm, and straight. And it's just like there on the daily. Oh, what else can we say about Canada? Oh, I got a good thing to say about Canada. And the ice hockey players are not taking any stupid knees around here. And now what I've started is the baseball players do that, and I hate that. And the basketball players do that, and I hate that. So I put up my response was, take a knee, no me. I'm not paying attention to that sport. You've taken a knee, I'm not paying attention to it. Matter of fact, I just unsubscribed to the baseball news. I don't really care about the baseball news. Those clowns are all taking knees. So no thank you. Take a knee, no me. That's what it is. But ice hockey, they're all standing up. I love it. They don't take a knee. That's because someone might check the other guy next to them. Go in there with the stick and start swinging away. I like that. They'll fight at a drop of a dime. They'll fight for almost anything. All right there. So there is Canada, and showing good life in it. I guess in the bad way. Actually, it's not supposed to. You really want it to go down because then it becomes more valuable, and when it goes up, it's not as valuable. Like I said, I think it's got to do with that we stuff last week in Trudeau. All right, but we know for sure for us, and that is that our math says, guess what? It's bouncing up. We'll see what happens when it finally gets to a weekly buy. All right, where do we head from here? Let's take a look at Swiss franc. Oh, a lot of times what we do is, let's do this. We'll go to oil. We'll take a look at NASCAD and then go from NASCAD over to oil because they all seem to emulate each other on some level or another. So let's do NASCAD. We'll take a look at NASCAD because that's like the signal to, you know, watch out above or below or one of the above. And that's 11 weeks in a buy. And you can see like oil there is like 13 weeks in a buy up top here. You can go like this. Right there, like that. So crude at the top of that is right there, 13 weeks in a buy, and NASCAD is 11 weeks in a buy. Yeah, so they usually march along pretty well together. Now let's go like that and then put it in. Where's it at? Right there. And I'm trying to break down a little bit, isn't it? Let's put it up on the Chicago Quant. See what they're doing with that. NASCAD. Maybe oil's moving down. Activate. Yeah, I just have oil down 5 cents, so that's not exactly getting crushed or something. But they're putting a little pressure into that. Same thing here. They're pushing it into a daily sell again. This thing's trying to roll over to the weekly sell. In that case, then let's go take a look at, you see here with the red bar and everything burying itself down here. The white line's trying to go through the slow stochastic, and the rate of change is way down at the bottom. Now let's jump over to crude oil and see what crude is doing. Right there. A little weakness, but again, it's only like 5 cents down last I looked. So there's been some pressure on it there. Where are we on this thing here? Oh yeah, we're 2 days in a daily sell. All right, so 13 weeks in a buy, but 2 days in a sell. You see the pressures here on the J4X. You see all that down in here, but trying to bounce a little. But as long as we get this red, I wouldn't worry about any of the bounce. So it's like as long as you have that red, and then once you start to bounce and you get green, then you know you got some strength going on there. See, it's pretty much the best way to utilize the red and the lines on J4X. And then in our case here, you see it's dancing its way down like the way Canadian is that same distance in the reverse side of it. So it's trying to put some pressure into it. We got a lot of red going on in ours. Lots of red. Lots of red. What's that? 3 dots. 4, 5, 6 out of 8 days. 8 days we have 6 red dots, and this one here is pretty cool. Out of the 8 days we have, that's 4 right there. And that's 5 out of it, and you have a couple of blanks too. So it's representing it very well on the J4X. Alrighty, doesn't anybody need anything to see anything? We can go to it. I'm looking for something to play with. I need to find a new product to stare at the moment. I stare at these all the time. So anybody throw something out, go look at it. I don't care. Yen something. Yen and Martian cryptocurrency. I don't care. We'll try any of it. Let's see. Where are we at now? And then, so then I guess there is the crude. So you can see what they're doing with that. And, oh, and then let's take a look at the crude future. And then we can go look at Martian cryptocurrency against whatever, the yen or the dollar or whatever. Let's see. Wrong one there. Let's go like that. There it is. There's crude. And yeah, you can see that too. It's doing the same thing. The daily's been in sell for a couple of days, but it hasn't really gone anywhere. But now the weekly is doing the same thing. It's trying to push its way down below the time manifold, and just heading towards the negative side of things. German DAX, please. Alrighty. Yay! When did a weekly buy? See it down there? I think it does. No, it's still in a weekly buy. 3 weeks in a buy. Let's check out Mr. and Mrs. DAX. Right. Thought it was up top. There's the Dow. Hong Kong. Where are you, Dax? I know it's in here. We've looked at it. That's the Nifty 50. There's the Dow. There it is. And there's the DAX still lifting up. Well, everything's trying to lift up today. Look at that. In the dailies, it's been pushing down. Let's take a look at it over here. Where do I have it? I think I have to open it up. It's in my stock side, right there. Do 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 do. Now there's the DAX. Now we've been in a daily buy in that. You see that here. See how that's been in a daily buy. Let's see if we can go like that. This has been sliding down. Now what am I looking at? I'm looking at the ETF here in the States. So they've been buying it. So the bigger question is, are they buying it here in the States, the ETF, to be long euros at the same time? Remember, I'm always saying that they buy, other products that are dollar denominated, and here the DAX obviously would be a representation of being long, euros in a sense. It's been in a weekly buy, I guess just last week, so it's 2 weeks now in a weekly buy, and then it'll start trading soon again. In this case here, let's see, that's that right there. So 3 weeks in the future. So it's been in a weekly buy in the future 3 weeks in. And it's going to go on a 4th week, and on the dollar, the ETF here in the States, the DAX ETF. So you can see it's a 14 $148 a share. It's been moving up, but you can see it's kind of trapped. It hasn't taken out these highs here. You can see same situation here. It has not taken out these highs, and it is trying to turn back up though. And it's not that far off the hunt. I mean, what are we looking at here? 900 points, and you can see how J4X is buried underneath. We get some green bars here. This thing busts out through the slow stoke, and I would imagine we'll see some strength there on the upside even more. Now, like I said, in the States here, you can see, let's widen that a little bit to make it look a little bit more interesting. You can see that there. That's the. Let's see. Do I move that down a little bit? Let me move that down a little bit. There we go. You can see that there. It's been firm. It's just not exploding. Now, is that today? That is today. Yes, that's today right there. So it's up in here. It's not gapping up way up to that high up there, of course, but it is doing that. Now, in this case here, you can see it's got a little bit more work to do to take out this high here. And this is a daily, so that's the high right there. Now, in the States, we're taking out, we're heading for that high, which is interesting. What do you think of the DAX? I mean, I think that Europe has some opportunity, not a lot, but some for the 2 trillion euros are going to spend. The question is, what are they going to spend them on? I think that's what the fight is right now. Can they spend it on something that helps everybody? If they don't spend it on the things that help businesses, not population as much, but the businesses, if they start getting businesses back into business, then it helps the population. So that's the challenge there, is when you have government deciding what is good for investment, what's bad for investment. Not a good idea. If those clowns were any good at it, they wouldn't be in government. I figure that bad business people normally are in government for a lifetime. Good business people go there for 4 to 6 years or 8 years and then walk away and shaking their head going, wow, what a bunch of losers. That's the way I've interpreted it as an old political hack myself. I just shake my head. It's like, oh my God, they've been doing this for 30 years. This is their life. All right. Let's see. What else can we say? So that's the DAX. And we'll see what they do. Europe is socialist. Yeah, I know. And they distribute free money. Yeah, but not enough of it. They distribute free money more to their friends than to the general population. They give the population crumbs. They do the Marie Antoinette thing, let them eat cake. And so they don't really give them subsistence. They give them just enough to be, was it prisoners or something like that, be slaves. The only freedom you can give anybody is the opportunity to be free, to do anything and everything they want to try to do that's legal. That's what the problem is, that Europe keeps on changing the laws to try to make things less and less legal. To be in business, they make it very hard. Where are we at now? So that's the DAX. And the FTSE was kind of interesting. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the DAX. That's the Russell. Sorry about that, traders. Let's find you the DAX. There's the DAX. There you go. Now it's matching up with Dukascopy. See that? There it is. And you can see here, it's trying to jump through, and there's the 3 weeks in a buy. And that was the Russell we were looking at, the Russell 2000. And you can see here, it's trying to press down. Went into a daily sell there last night, but it's still in a weekly buy, so you can't take the short. And then today, I imagine the DAX is, let's see how we have that. Is it pre-market? Let's see if we can put pre-market in there so it'll jump up and show us what it's doing. Settings, defaults, pre-market. And there it goes. Still not in there. That's still Friday. So they're not making any trades in it. So we'll see how they quote them in about a half hour. But all men are equal, but some are men are more equal than others. Something like that. Pretty much men and women. I mean, look at Christine Lagarde. How do you classify that circus act? I mean, can she even? She can't even work in France, right? Isn't she wanted or something? But she's head of the ECB now, and she was head of the IMF. But they had a warrant out for her arrest, didn't they? For a long while, when she was treasury or minister of something in France. Didn't she do something that they're chasing after her still to this day? They just don't enforce it, right? So they don't extradite her, I guess. I guess that's how that works. So yeah, some people are more equal than other people. Like I said, take a knee, not me. Hmm. That's it. That's what it comes down to. All right, let's check out. Let's go over to the gold since we've been slowly moving along on a Friday. I mean a Monday. It's a Monday. Monday. Let's take a look at the S&P real quick, and then we'll go to gold. You can see that there's your firmness in the 5-month high. It's a is that a 5-month high? They say that's a 5-month high. I guess it's a 5-month high. I guess that's. Let's see. This is Augie Doggy, July and June. How's it a 5-month high with that headline? I guess May. That's 1, 2, 3, and we're on a 4th month. I don't know. Either way you look at it, it is higher, of course. Let's see. I thought it was higher, the futures contract, so that's confusing me. Let's go to the futures contract real quick and take a peek. Because that headline said that it was a 5-month high. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's it right there. Take a knee, it's me. Not me. Yeah, I guess so. So, all right back in here. So, since March, it's broken the highest high point now since March. Because it took out this high here. And it took out that high right there. Okay, so all of July, all June, all May, all April, and going into March. And I imagine the DAX will join in with that. And I would think that the FTSE would do the same thing. Now let's take a look at Goldorado. Let's see what the Goldorado, December gold. There she blows. The great white whale. Oh, it's heading down, I see. Okay. See, it's heading a little bit down. But still looking very, very firm overall over the last couple of days. Let's check it out here. Over here. Let's see. Go to J4X and we'll put the gold up there. What it is what it is. All right, there you go. Looking very firm. But look at that. Same thing on J4X showing a little weakness there. Same thing here. It's trying to move down. And I imagine if this pierces the slow-moving Stoke, we may be through the zero line from that. That's a good way of using that, treating the slow-moving Stoke as the zero line. Just the way we use the histogram and the white to define the zero line. We'll be seeing this thing turning green. Red. I don't think it's going to be moving away from the green. I think it's going to stick around for a little bit. Awful hard to sell the metals market. But again, that big delivery in New York, biggest delivery in history on Friday, shakes it all up. Huh. What an interesting story that is. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. What else can we talk about here with the gold? I don't see anything particular jumping out. And you can see here, it is down for the day, but how much down can it really get? I mean, there's a lot of support in here, and obviously these highs. I mean, the 1860s. It'd be hard to believe that we're going to break down below the 1860s at this point. Looks like she's on a new course for the upside. And then, let's see. Let's take a look at the Silverado and see how silver's doing. Oh, and let's look on the spreadsheet just to see what she's doing here. So she's 8 weeks in a buy in the DDDD Christmas gold, and 11 days in a daily buy. So it's been firm, and happy. All right, now let's take a look at the Silverado. 4 and 11. Let's put that up there. And there's silver. And that's the September contract. And let's put it up on here. Right there. Ooh, baby, look at that thing dropping through there, huh? Busting that down, huh? See, it's not doing it here yet, though. But it's the only way I can interpret that. You know, white line, fast-moving stoke down below. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more selling in silver. I don't know. You know, it's awful hard to meet. You know, they say that's what the poor man's gold. It's awful hard to imagine why would they be selling it. But you know what? There's a lot of profit taking that goes on in these metals since they don't pay interest. You know, they don't pay interest. So, Aussie dollar going down on an up equity market. You know, they closed in a daily sell on Friday. I thought that was curious. See it right there? 16 weeks in a buy. We can find that right there. Yeah, still doing it. And let's put it up on J4X. Aussie dollar. Aussie New Zealand. Aussie yen. Aussie dollar. See how it looks there. Yeah, same thing, breaking down. And got us a red today. It is kind of a little surprising there, but we're in a weekly buy. You can see you can't see. We're still in a weekly buy. It hasn't even broken the time manifold. And it is tight. Let's widen that a little bit. But that is tight. I mean, it's not it's a very tight parameter. So this could be just like, again, profit taking. That's the way it seems to me sometimes. Is just a lot of this selling is profit taking. You know, the idea is you trade, you buy, you make money, you sell it, take a profit. That's the whole name of the game. All right, now what shall we look at now? I'm glad you mentioned the Aussie. It was well worth looking at. What haven't we looked at? Let's look at the yen. Oh, we didn't even look at the Swiss. Let's do the Swiss first, and we'll go to the yen. 10 weeks in a sell and 11 days in a sell. Let's put it up here first. Heading to J4X for a little Swiss. May I have a piece of chocolate, please? Oh, a little firmness there today, eh? Look at that bounce. Zoom. Zoom, zoom, Alice. Where is it at? I know it's there. There it is. Doing the same thing. We had a volatility indication on Friday. You can see the green and the red dot. And then today it popped. It popped. And now it's going to clean out that 11-week sell. Which is kind of interesting. That is it right there. We're seeing this Swiss doing a nice little bouncer, and I guess the dollar must be, obviously is moving up. So the dollar Swiss pairs trade is literally a great hedge for people who are trading the dollar. Yeah, you buy Swiss or sell Swiss. Now, obviously, there's a limit to the size, but it's definitely for the average trader, it's a good offset. That's for sure. That's a pairs trade that you want to offset some of your other positions with. All right. Now let's look at the yen. Yenski, right there. 106.25. Bouncing up. Interesting. How did we go out on that little puppy there? There it is right there. Oh, we did go out. We like Friday again. Friday went out in the daily buy. 7 weeks in a sell. I think this thing was 21 days in a sell. 20 some odd days. It was in a sell for a long time. 4 weeks at least. I remember that. Because I remember talking about it last week about it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so now it's in a buy. So it closed in a buy. Yes, of course. Duh. It's on the spreadsheet. Duh. So it closed in a daily buy on Friday. And after a bunch, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 21 days in a sell. Yowzer. But it, really didn't go far until that last week and a half. Well, I mean, it did fall from what was it? The 108s. The 107s and a halves, 3/4, something like that, down to the 104s. I guess I guess it was a good fall. I guess, yeah. Yeah, it made a nice little. That last leg of it was good, And now it's, the dollar moves up a little bit, and it moves up a little bit. It plays that game there. Alrighty. I'm waiting for someone to ask me for Mars cryptocurrency against the euro. All right. Ding. What else do we have here? Okay, so we've done yen, we've done Swiss, we've done Canadian, we've done the NASCAD, we've looked at oil. Oh, I know it. Let's just take a look at this one, because just as 54 was mentioning dollar Aussie, let's look at Euro Aussie. Right there, Euro Aussie. It's in a weekly buy and 2 days in a daily buy, which is counterproductive again, right? It's supposed to be the other way around. So let's take a look at that, because we're seeing strength in the markets there. When you see strength in the U.S. market, you're supposed to see weakness in this. And it looks kind of firm there. See how it looks in our Chicano quant. Looking firm just like that, just like it does in J4X. Staying up in there in the weekly. I don't know. Maybe this is it's the middle of August. How can I take this market too serious? Just take my profits and go. That's pretty much the answer to the whole thing. I don't know if we're really starting some type of action here or not. I did see that there was a really strange, I don't know if it's strange, but a big article out of the New York Fed on Friday said that our GDP is exploding on the upside. From where it's coming from, that type of thing. Relative. It's Al Einstein stuff, relative this, relative that. You got a good relative, you got a bad relative. Your uncle, whoever, your aunt, something, relative. And so you can see here, it's up at the top end of the range, and this thing is trying to say to us that the stock market wants to go down, but we are not seeing the stock market go down, are we? Let's just take a look at the stock market. We were looking at the DAX, and it was acting very firm today, and we were looking at the S&P 500, which was looking very firm today at 5-month highs. So, and we'll just take a look at it over here again. So I'm not really sure what is going on when it comes to these currency pairs that usually relate on some level to what's going on. It's not real. I mean, that's at the highs also. It's like they're running in the same direction. It's like, wait a minute, that's not logical. That's not logical. That's the story. Okay. Any other ideas out there? Let's see what we have here. ISM, manufacturing in less than an hour. Ah, okay. It's at 10 o'clock, right? Eastern Standard. I know that some of the stats have been coming out. I mean, like, look at the Amazon. Did everybody see the Amazon and the Apple numbers, earnings come out on, Thursday? And it was like, incredibly strong because, yeah, we're locked up in not our homes, but we're locked up on our farms. And, we only have X amount of acres to run around and houses to look go in and out of. But, yeah, I mean, the numbers were really hot and heavy. And so, I think Giannis has said it best. We've talked with 54 about this. We've talked about Daniel with this. We've talked about a lot of people in this webinar about this. It's not logical to use, statistics, economic statistics on everything because, the relativeness of it all. In other words, the government shut down the country. So how do you factor that in? You got to factor that in. In other words, you can't ignore it. So then what happens when you factor it in and you see like an 18.9 jump, like that's what's going to be in the GDP, an 18.9% jump in GDP on the upside. How do you factor that in? Do you get all excited? Remember these funds are incorporated. They're taking public money, right? And they're incorporating, and they have a manifesto. And if they don't invest the way they incorporated, they get sued. It doesn't matter how much money they make. They will get sued. It's easier to go to court and sue somebody than it is to make money in trading. So what happens is that the funds have to invest. They have to act like they're investing. When people go, why are they buying? It's because their incorporation, their manifesto of their incorporation says they have to buy. They put that in there. It said, when this goes up and this goes up and inflation is down, they actually write it out. You can do a hedge fund. You can create a hedge fund. And, you can have a cheap little hedge fund that doesn't really explain much. And you're going to have very little investors in it. Okay? Or you can go out and have like a, $60,000 or $70,000 hedge fund where you incorporate. And it has every bell and whistle and tells you exactly how you're going to do it. And you put a couple of names in there that are running the money, that have been running money for decades. And they'll put more, the investors will put more money, the pension funds will put more money in, the teachers' unions will, the labor unions, the retirees, they'll all put more money into that hedge fund because it spells out what they're supposed to do. And so if they have a bucket of money, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, they will sue them. My son works for a financial ambulance chaser. He's part of the portfolio team. And what they do is they monitor every client's portfolio. And if a corporation does something stupid, be it a hedge fund or a actual company itself, and does something foolish, they will sue for 2 hours of trading. They'll sue for the stock was trading at 160. The news came out. It was illegal. The company couldn't do it. And so the stock goes down to 140. And so now they'll go sue for the $20 that was in their whole portfolio. Or they'll sue because they purchased stock in the morning at 160. And then the portfolio, not the portfolio, but the stock fell because of the stupid news by the illegal move by the person working for the company. And they'll sue them for that, just for that 2 hours. And so when you look at these movements sometimes, you have to understand there's blind mechanics going on there. There may be funds out there right now that says to buy dollar Aussies or Euro Aussies every time economic statistics comes out. And so you might be seeing strength in those when you're not supposed to. You're seeing weakness in the dollar Aussie and you're seeing strength in the Euro Aussie. And it's like, is that the way it's supposed to be? They're supposed to be working the opposite with the stock market running at 5-month highs. So they don't have much of a choice. Whatever manifesto of their incorporation, these funds have to invest that way. And there's not just one, trust me. They all copy each other. Most of these funds are identical. There's very little that can separate them because there's not much you can do. You can buy something, you can sell something. You can buy it on earnings. You can buy it on inflation. You can buy it on, economic news. You can, in other words, there's not much creativity out there. I had a hedge fund with a friend of mine. We had a hedge fund for a year, and it was fun. We made 26%, which was boring, and I was doing too much work. He was doing too little work, and that was what the problem was. And so we got rid of the fund. We had made 26%, gave the money back, so forth. And the whole thing really came down to is that we were only there's I don't know 9,000-10,000 hedge funds in the United States back then, and there were only 3 competing companies with us. That's it. All the rest of the hedge funds were plain vanilla, something else. We were a options, what was it? Options / long short fund. So we did options and underlying product, but we were a long short hedge fund. That's what we were, a long short hedge fund. And they say that they're hedging, but they're not a pure long. They don't talk about using options. Whereas we put it in our manifesto. We use options. So we're trading options, and like I said, 26% is nothing on an options portfolio. So after the end of the year, we just this is nothing. This is too boring. If we're not making 300 or 400%. Also, he wasn't doing the work. I was doing the work. It was driving me crazy. He's supposed to be going out getting clients. Instead, I bring in the money. I'm part of the trading. He's involved in the trading. He's a great trader, but he wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to be out there collecting the money. So never really brought anything in. And that's where we are. The funds have to function under their manifesto. And so when we see trading that's going on, it's not necessarily reflective of what is really going on. It's more reflective of economic stats that are popping out. And when you have a government shutting down, or global governments shutting down markets and economies, our stats are going to be all over the place. Like today, Friday's New York Fed says our GDP is going to increase 18.9%, almost, round it out, 20%. I mean, that's a demonstrative move. So, they have that in their manifesto of their incorporation. And so they've got to come into the market and buy a little, or they're going to get sued. Doesn't matter if it's at the highest, overinflated price of the stock. They probably have a valve that says something like in there, like if it's overbought, we only buy 3 to 5%, or what our black box tells us to do, something like that. And so they have something in there that hedges it. But if they don't do anything, they get sued. They got to do something. Doesn't matter if it's not a big chunk, it's a chunk. And obviously that means that they're not selling. So that's that. I mean, they can't go out and sell right now because they said in their manifesto they were going to buy. So it removes sellers at the same time. So that's the whole game. Let's see, what else have we got going on here? Where are we looking at? Oh, we're looking at the stock indice. Okay. All right, so there we are with that. Now, what else can we look at here? Let's see. Next thing is, let's look on the spreadsheet since no one seems to have anything jumping out at them. Maybe down lower. Let's look at Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin. Let's see if we can spot that wild move in it. The bitty coin. It's a itty bitty coin. It's popping back up again now, that's for sure. So someone pitched $1 billion out of it but it didn't seem to have much of a reflection of it. Let's see if I can see it on my Chicago quant. No, that's not there. I think it's in the currencies. I think I keep it in the currencies. There it is. I do have July in there. I don't know. They're not real. If they sold it hard last night, it's obviously been bought back already. No, I guess it's not reflecting it. I'm not seeing it on ours. That's why. Let me see. It's not reflecting it. That's what's going on there. But J4X is reflecting it pretty clearly. It's very firm there today. So that is the action that we have seen there. These cryptos look very good, when it comes to how well they hold up. Even when they get knocked down, they get back up again. So Ancient river system. Oh, joy. So that is what it is. Bitcoin is really reflecting still in the 11s. There's no real so whoever sold the billion to drive it down it had no effect on it. It's back up there. All right. That's the Bitcoin. Interesting width in the market, though. I mean, the futures do the same thing. It's pretty wide. Let's see what's going on here. There we are. Oop. Let me answer that one. And what title should we use today, too? Got to have a title for this thing. No news. Call you after Robin. There we are. Just answering that one. Do more work. So anybody have a title for this thing today? What do we think we should call this? I guess like gold. Gold's not doing anything. Oil's not doing anything. Dollar firm. I guess we could call it like dollar firm, gold strong, something like that. And so we'll go from there. The action today more is, I guess, stocks are firm. I mean, the equity markets are really lifting up. That's really the strength we're seeing here. Again, is the action in the equities. We're seeing the dollar firm, stocks firm, dollar firm. Kind of usually the opposite of that, isn't it? That's what 54 is trying to say. It's odd for them to be doing this. I guess it's classic summertime doldrums, That's exactly what it is. The classic summertime doldrums. That's what the title really should be, but that doesn't usually go over, and people can't relate to that too well. And we're going to call it dollar firm, stocks firm. There we go. I think that's a goodie. All right, what else do we got brewing here? I don't see anything else. If there's no other questions, I'm going to jump out of here. I'm already up to 58 minutes or something like that. 59 minutes, I don't know. So I got the stock market to chase after today. I got to do some stuff with that. I'm going to try to take some more profits out of it. That's the name of the game, traders. You buy to sell. You buy it, get rid of it higher. And that is what the objective is. And it doesn't make me bearish. I just want to keep the money and be able to buy hamburgers. So that's Doc from North America. We will catch all of you same time, same channel tomorrow. And we'll see what happened today out of this. It could be interesting, And look at that Bitcoin. 11,311 now offered. They're moving it up. Whoever sold the billion wasn't able to pressure this thing down. Who knows? Maybe they have billions more, and they're just thinking, I just want to buy some hamburgers too. So I think I'll just sell $1 billion worth, so I can turn on the lights in the evening. I mean, really, that's all it comes down to is making money, traders. All right, Doc from North America saying over and out, and happy trails to you. Until we meet again, happy trails to you, to all my